they want to know that you're still the same person. And whether that's fair or not, whether we should be expected to remain the same people throughout a 20, 30 year relationship that we might have with that person, we do change and we do grow and we do evolve. But I think it can do a lot of good to just sort of reassure somebody that you're still there, that the relationship's still there, that you love them, that things are still the same in terms of how you feel about them, but this is just something you have to do, and they need to respect that very much. So whilst you're happy to answer questions and discuss, I think it has to be quite clear that you're not going to change how you behave just because they're kicking off or because they are concerned. Like, oh, you should be exercising. You're not going to say, oh, okay, then let's go exercise, I'll just give it up. Like, you need to explain, and they need to have the respect for you to know what's right for your body. And at the end of the day, they're with you as a person. They're not with some outer shell that's bound forevermore to stay the same. I think if you likened it to something like if your partner got a disease, if they got MS or if they got cancer or something, their body would change and their response and their needs would change. And so an eating disorder is a potentially life-threatening disease, illness, whatever you might call it. It's potentially life-threatening, and to recover from it is an arduous, difficult, stressful endeavour. And whilst it's completely the right thing that you need to be doing for your body, it's an illness. And so you wouldn't say to your partner, oh, I don't want you to lose your hair if you've got cancer. Or can you not, can you not deteriorate in old age? It's kind of like, you can't stipulate that to a loved one. You just can't. You've got to love them for who they are, in sickness and in health, essentially. And that's what you've got to think of it like. This is a sickness, and the fact that you are able to recover in this way, in such a evidence-based, peer-reviewed way, not the actual method, but the methods that it's based on, it's really lucky. It's really lucky that we can actually undo all this damage, but we need a bit of time to do it. And I think loved ones need to respect that, and we need to, when we're ready, do our best to try and help them understand that. So yeah, what else? Encourage people to read the literature. There's a book out now that Gwyneth Orwin's got. You can buy it on Amazon, download it, it's like £7 or something. Read the blogs, it's all free. You can get on there and you can have a look. And when I sort of said to my partner, look, you can challenge this all you want, but I want you to read everything. And it sort of went away, they're just sort of saying things and then they don't actually. Some people might read it cover to cover. Like, I know if I probably asked my mum to, she would. But you can't have a proper argument with someone who hasn't read any of the literature around it. So I think that's a really good argument to sort of say, look, it's not my job to defend this method. It's my job to do this method and to conduct my recovery in the best way possible. It's my job to eat. It's my job to rest. It's my job to apply therapeutic techniques like cognitive behavioural therapy, etc. It's my job to do all of those things, but it's not my job to convince you this is the best recovery method for me. If they want to get more information, by all means, they're perfectly capable of going on the website themselves. They're welcome to read the book. They can even contact Gwyneth if they want, and I'm sure she'd be happy to answer any questions they had. I think a lot of the time people kind of demand answers, and they demand, like, you have to explain everything in detail. And I know personally, I've been reading this information for nearly 2 years, and there's still some things that I don't fully kind of understand, or I don't know the statistics for, or whatever. And why the hell should we? You know, we shouldn't be forced to try and explain ourselves when probably the person questioning you eats perfect amounts, like normal amounts anyway, or they have their own issues with disordered eating. So if you think about it, you know, if somebody's got their own issues with disordered eating, well, you don't want to take their advice anyway. And if somebody eats normal amounts of food themselves, well, then they don't really have a right to say you can't. So whoever it is that's questioning you, they don't really have a right. I know it's hard because people that you love hold a certain power in your life. They are opinions that are very difficult to shrug off. So I would encourage you to go down the route of, when you're ready, pointing them gently towards the literature and saying, well, this is what I'm doing, and having those boundaries, but also trying to sort of softly reassure them that you still love them, and it's gonna be all right. And I think that approach probably allows for more diplomacy. It allows for the acknowledgement that a big change like this can be difficult on loved ones, and to just, you know, perhaps allow a little compassion for them, that side as well. Because, you know, you can go storming in and sort of say, well, fuck you, I'm not going to tell you, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you want people to see your reasoning and come round to your way of thinking. You know, that's kind of the objective, I think. More relationship building and communication instead of shutting down. That's just what I found anyway. So, yeah, that's kind of my video on dealing with family members, friends. I might not have kind of covered everything in this video, so if you have any questions, just let me know and I can do a follow-up video on it. It's kind of a big topic because family members and loved ones, they carry a lot of weight, and you know, if you have an argument with somebody or somebody's worried about you, or there's tension, it can really get to you, and I know that we don't want that on top of trying to recover. So the more we can do to alleviate some of that difficulty, the better. And if you need any help as to my approach to it or how I managed it, then by all means just ask in the comments. In terms of how things are now, things are great. You know, people don't even ask about my recovery. I think my mum's the only one that's sort of constantly maybe noticing my weight, but then I am as well. I think she's interested and is kind of like watching to see if I lose weight, and has been quite vocal about, I just can't see how you're going to lose weight, I don't think you're going to taper, I just can't see it. And that's fair enough, I suppose, because it's kind of against what we're told in society. You know, how can you possibly lose weight when you're eating full amounts of food? And the idea of metabolic damage and tapering and healing and your body managing its own set point weight and losing weight naturally, that just isn't taught. So the fact that she doesn't quite believe it yet, that's fine. She'll believe it when she sees it, and hopefully it will happen. It kind of already is happening, but on the scales. Otherwise, yeah, that's kind of it, and people will accept it. People have to accept it because it's happening. And if they don't accept it, and if they can't handle it, well, then fuck them, seriously, because Wasn't it Marilyn Monroe that said, if you can't handle me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best? And that's entirely true for recovery, because if somebody can't handle you now when you're sick, and when you have the power to get better again, what happens if you had a more serious disease or anything like that and you needed support? You know, if you may as well know now, if you're with somebody weak that can't support their sick partner or friend or anything like that. So